Oh, fantastic. Good morning, good morning.
Good morning, Rachel.
How's Bali today? It's been rainy.
It's been raining and it's a bit overcast and it's a bit blowy and it's starting to warm up now, thankfully. So that's nice. And it's stopped raining. So, yeah, nice, a bit fresh.
Okay, so I think we need to have a little bit of a conversation in who are you and who am I? And give everybody a little bit of a lowdown in that we're so excited to share our information with you that we're like, hello, who am I? And who's
Who
this
are
lady?
they?
Yeah. So I'm going to hand it over to Eeshi-Ra, and she's going to give a lovely little synopsis of who she is, where she's come from, what she's about, where her passion is, etc., etc. So over to you, Eeshi-Ra.
Okay, thanks, Rach. Well, I've been into sound for almost 20 years and I started off actually as a body worker and was doing different types of massage, holistic, aromatherapy, sports, injury prevention, reflexology, and heard about sound frequency and started to look at amazing research using sound in the laboratory with in vitro DNA and seeing how this actually enabled the cells to start vibrating with light. And it just really intrigued me. And from that, I started researching and felt, I tend to think a bit like a scientist or a troubleshooter. And I started asking, like, is there perhaps a sound or a series of frequencies we can give the body which can be like a reset, a reboot for us? And within a year, I got an answer to that question. And basically, since 2001, I've been on that path with sound. And the reason I'm passionate about it, I'm being an Aries. Aries are a little bit impatient for change. And what I love is to be able to bring solutions to people where they can get a permanent result. So they can really shift and heal at that deeper level. And been seeing such amazing shifts with clients, particularly where they have had chronic issues and they have had challenges in their life where they haven't been able to shift something and the doctor hasn't been able to recommend something. And that's what I love. I love being able to say, sound may well have a gift here for you. So that's my passion. And this is why I'm here sharing today with you all. And really excited to be working with Rachel because she's such an expert on the anatomy and really getting into the body at that structural level. So yeah, so that's me.
Fantastic. And yes, the anatomy geek has a has a passion, and yeah, the body never ceases to amaze me, and it's continued to people's bodies, people's soma, that people just show up in such different ways, and how I treat seems to show up in different ways. And within that combination of me introducing my ways of healing, I guess, to be that detective for the body to be able to unravel the healing, to be unraveling trauma wherever that might be in conversation. We've got a great chat that we're having about trauma coming up tomorrow, I think. So in relation to that, I've come from a sports therapy background, similar to you, massage background. And that felt at times quite mechanical. And it felt that also I hadn't delved into the depths of the body to the degree that osteopathy would take me on. So I then took myself off to do a 4-year degree. With being dyslexic and having troubles, etc., with learning, I managed to do a degree. Yes. And I continued to endeavour to overcome those dyslexic ups and downs that I have. And that's really helped with my teaching. It's really got me into sharing teaching in as many ways as possible, whether it's visual, being interactive, listening, writing down, being in conversation with people. So that's where the anatomy school birthed. And obviously with treatments, which is where we met in Bali, my way of treating people has shifted with being in Bali. It's definitely become more subtle, more appreciative that we are all so unique and dynamic in our own way, that I have to be very mindful of how I'm interacting with that individuality of that person and their uniqueness within their rich tapestry of things that may have happened within their life. And I've found, thanks to you with introducing sound healing, that this has brought me a totally different new modality of work, of treatment that was initially very random and in and out of my treatments, and then slowly but surely it's got more. And then you share with me more frequencies, and it's like, okay, well, there's quite a few people in Bali that are on the search. They're on their journey. They're in their story. They're quite in their head about their story, and they're wanting to unravel it, heal their traumas, move through stuff. And there's a lot of raw. There's a big raw group of people within Bali, which I find can very much lead you into a very cerebral ether state. And for some people, they need a lot of grounding and need grounding after treatment. So there's been numerous tuning forks that there's tuning forks that maybe I use a little bit more than others for grounding, for example. And then there's other tuning forks within that will be really good for, say, for example, someone that's come off a motorbike that's maybe got a contusion, someone that's hit themselves, someone that's got grazes, somebody that's even had a motorbike burn, which we're going to have a bit of a conversation about that. So there's such a different wide variety of scenarios that have come through the treatment room that, you know, some folks might collect a little bit more dust than others, but they will surely get dusted off when required. And you never know what's going to walk through the door in relation to work. So, I've come from extensive hands-on for 20 years. And over this since March, since the whole COVID situation, I've then been getting this whole online thing and feeling like I'm becoming a bit more of a marketing kind of person than being an osteopath, but loving teaching, loving this whole online virtual education to share with people around the world that maybe you wouldn't be able to reach in relation to people coming over to Bali to do a course. So really excited to be able to make that shift virtually and have that sense of connection with you, connection with myself, and introduce this to everybody that has anything to do with bodywork, even if you're a GP, that might be a holistic GP, even if you're working with animals, because we've had a couple of people that have been interested in relation to treatment and animals. A good friend of mine, she's just done osteopathy with treating dogs, and I sent her one of my forks over to Perth. I'm not sure if she's used it yet, but I hope she has. And other people that have also checked in as well. So that's who we are, everybody. Eeshi-Ra Hart and Rachel Ellery, and we're here to share with you the cellular sonics that really gets your body attuned in a very different way, and it's a fantastic adjunct to any therapy. So it's the way to go. It's, you know, returning back in a really quite a popular fashion, sound healing. Many people are doing it, incorporating it, going and having a sound bath where you're lying down and being introduced to a variety of different sounds, and the body goes on quite an amazing journey through that.
Yeah, so, and there's a lot of different sound healing out there, which is maybe relaxing music, or it's, you know, it's uplifting in some way. And what is specific about cellular sonics is we are choosing precise frequencies which can actually really get a deeper result, because a lot of sound healing is more about unifying the body, entraining the body into a central point so that it can start to relax. But we're working with frequencies which really go in, you know, looking at wound healing, dealing with inflammation, which is what we're going to talk about today, dealing with grounding, like Rachel mentioned, and, you know, rebalancing the hemispheres of the brain and uplifting our mood in many different scientific and medically researched frequencies. So we can really bring the beauty and the profundity, if you like, of sound, because it that's one of the reasons why we give the tagline transforming at a structural and a cellular level, because it's really reaching right inside the body to get a beautiful shift. Yeah.
So yeah, combo of a bit of an osteopath and a sound healer. Woo! I tell you, we're all go here. So watch it out. It's great for a course that you're going to get for a lifetime use, and a course that you're going to have a lifetime use of these fantastic tuning forks that you can't knock. They're going to be with you forever. You can travel with them. They're easy to use with consciousness. And yeah, you'll learn a lot more about that in the course itself.
Great. Yeah, I love to carry one of the master frequency tuning forks with me. I actually always carry it in my bag, because there's always someone who's got a headache, someone who's having a bad day, or like Bali, who's had a bike accident. And it's just amazing how you can shift the patient's state really fast and get them out of pain and help them feeling a bit more relaxed. And yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, so today's day 3 of our little chats and our sharing, and today we would like to talk to you about acute and chronic inflammation. And we're also going to talk about wound healing. Now, what amazes me within this topic is that there can be a wide variety of situations that can influence our inflammatory states within our body, which might be stress, for example. Stress, I know that when I get stressed and when I overload myself with too much work, and then I want to go off and do some ceramics, and I might want to come home and do something else, and I'm catching up with this person, then I'm going out for dinner with that person, and then it's busy, and that can I definitely get a sense of my body feeling slightly more of an inflamed state. And then we have food. What food do we put in our mouths? Is it processed? Yeah. Is it clean? Is it real? Is it, how are we eating? Are we conscious when we eat? And I believe that the eating has a huge influence on our inflammatory state. Stress levels, also in relation to the breath in, the breath out. Are we breathing correctly? Because often if we're stressed, this can lead to a breathing dysfunction. So if we're looking at this, if we just start with the wound, if we just start with the inflammation, and then we can look at wound healing, which goes into different parts of wound healing, which is also in an inflammatory state. So for body workers, I'm going to use that as a collective term, whether you're osteopath, chiro, physio, people that are in the bodywork healing world. How many people come to us with inflammation? Now, inflammation can produce pain. So we're dealing with a big umbrella. So this is a large conversation for us to be talking about inflammation, of which we're going to try and wrap it up in a pretty speedy period of time. And we've got some great testimonials that we'd like to share. So I think with inflammation, where is inflammation beginning? How much at a cellular level are we talking about the different inflammatory responses that our body goes through, which is a little bit geeky in relation to the physiology. That I wasn't the best at physiology. My best mate was the physiology guru and I was the anatomy guru, and we bounced off each other. So there are different inflammatory scenarios that happen at more of a cellular level. Therefore, these tuning forks that we have looked at and collated together for the practitioner tuning fork set, there are some specific tuning forks that are really, really, really beneficial to use. Now, there's one guy that you'd mentioned, Eeshi-Ra, that I believe we've incorporated a free, what's it called, a free PDF in relation to this guru, this doctor, that you'd like to share a little bit about him. So I'll hand it over to you to talk a little bit about him.
Great, yeah. Dr. John Beaulieu, he's a naturopath and a psychotherapist, and he's basically the grandfather of tuning forks. And in the 1970s, interestingly, he had spent 500 hours, can you imagine, sitting in a soundproof chamber, you know, one of those chambers where you're on a mental health ward and someone who needs to thrash about, it's a safely padded cell so they can make as much noise as they want. And he was fascinated because he basically took himself inside the soundproof chamber and noticed he could hear the sound of his brain. He could hear the pumping of his heart, and he could hear the sound of the arteries and the veins moving the blood through. And what he found was he did, this was all done over 2 years. And when he placed a tuning fork on his body, he found that his central nervous system started to entrain to that frequency. And from that, tuning fork therapy has been born. So he has done some amazing research, particularly with inflammation. And this is a way of stimulating. Again, we talked yesterday about pain using frequencies which can stimulate beta endorphins. And this is actually a way of stimulating the body's natural response to dealing with inflammation. So this is a really simple way. And immediately the body starts to produce that. And if it's very interesting to look at when we think about trauma. So very often when we have had intense trauma, the body actually stops having that natural response of dealing with the inflammation, especially if it's, you know, been quite strong and it's been chronic ongoing. So with sound, we can actually stimulate, reboot, reset, you know, get that natural healing ability of the body to be working again. So it's beautiful to know that we have that as a possibility.
With the specific fork, which is what I really like, because as healing practitioners, how much inflammation do we see? Whether it's from a tendonitis, here we go, anything with the prefix itis on, it's tendonitis, myositis,
arthritis, gastritis,
Arthur's a big one, isn't it? Bit of arthritis.
Oh my God, so painful.
Anything with itis means inflammation, of which I see that a lot with patients that are coming in. So it's going to be a large aspect of your treatment and the usage of these forks to get in and to create a new modality of treatment to incorporate into what you do, which is going to be, how do we want to get rid of inflammation? We want to pump, we want to move it, we want to disperse it, we want to move it on, we want to move it on through.
Yeah, and the frequencies we're also sharing here, they are also benefiting the circulation. They're really stimulating blood circulation. They're able to stimulate ATP in the cells. And they're obviously, you know, when you've got an inflamed area, you want to be able to drain the lymph so that the body can start to bring in fresh blood, fresh oxygen, and drain, you know, clear out the waste products. So it's really helpful to have, you know, the other frequencies. You know, we're talking about wound healing as well. So in order for the body to just give it as much support as possible, and that way you can really produce a deeper result for your clients.
So wound healing. I've ended up treating Eeshi-Ra on numerous situations, usually with a motorbike involved. So that was the first, I think, a few little ankle things that were going on. Yet I've also seen photos of your healing of your motorbike burn. So tell me how beneficial you found. It was a great little kind of, I don't know, test or case study for yourself in utilising sound and healing up your burn. They call it a barley kiss, I think, don't they?
Yeah, they call it the barley kiss here, which is kind of funny. And I've noticed that people generally hear if you've got an exhaust burn, it scars over and it's this nasty black mark. And I was just like, oh no, I don't think I want that, And so I thought, okay, I'm going to be the ultimate case history here. And so I started working with frequencies for wound healing, for pain, obviously, and also for DNA repair. And I was it was very interesting because I did it over, it was probably a couple of months. And now, I look at it and it's very, very slightly there. And you certainly can't compare it to any of the nasty scars. And it's just beautiful. It's like I find that, it's great to have myself as a test subject. Like I've used sound in different ways for curing food poisoning from eating a dodgy egg sandwich, and sound through speakers, and that completely sorted out my food poisoning, and I just completely cleared my symptoms of diarrhea and vomiting, got all my energy back in about an hour and a half, and then I was able to drive home after 3 days of being super sick. So yeah.
Wow, I love it. That's great.
It's great. I love being able to have that ability to fix things which you would ordinarily think would have to be done a certain way, but actually there's so many options for sound, which is so exciting for me, to be able to give people deeper results.
Yeah. I'm just scrolling through and trying to find this testimonial.
Oh yeah, well I've got this other one I wanted to share.
Okay.
Because we had a guy who, he was talking yesterday about insomnia, and he was like, oh, how can I use sound? And I thought I'd share this because this is such a beautiful testimonial. This is actually from a friend of mine in Bali. And she says, I honestly don't know what I would do without my tuning forks from Eeshi-Ra and Sonic Life Solutions. Probably panic a bit, though. I literally can't go a day without them. And since I got them 10 months ago, I pretty much haven't. I've suffered from insomnia on and off for 15 years now. And although it's been a long journey of healing on many levels, I am now sleeping restfully. Before I go to sleep, before I go to sleep, I use each tuning fork a few times on my sternum, so that's on the chest, maybe on my forehead too. And then they absolutely attune me to a 0 point state of being relaxed, clear-minded, and in my body. I have also, and this is what's beautiful about this testimonial, I have also gotten off all of my sleeping supplements. These tuning forks before bed are it for me. If you have trouble sleeping or grounding or getting into your body, I can't recommend these tuning forks enough. And the highest quality ones, I strongly believe, are from Eeshi-Ra's website. Blessed be.
Yes.
Yes, and it's that kind of testimonial that keeps me going on my path with this. I just love it. It's just brilliant. Did you find your one for Bex?
Yeah, I have found it. So we will wrap up with this pretty amazing patient success. The tuning fork helped me in multiple different ways. And a large part of it was due to the skill and intuition and sensitivity of Rachel, who could apply it in appropriate strength and places and at the appropriate time. This was on a very acute burn situation. I was in a huge amount of pain due to sustained burns for a large surface area of my body. The application of the tuning fork helped considerably to reduce my physical discomfort, as it was to be placed on the unburnt areas of my body, yet the vibrations traveled to the areas that could not be helped physically. That's what you're talking about, of the intelligence of the tuning fork.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah, pretty amazing. The application of the tuning forks helped me considerably to reduce the pain, etc., etc. I've said that already, Rach. It also has an incredible calming effect on my nervous system, because she was very alert and in that hyper sensitive, alert situation. So it helped her enormously with fear and anxiety. It allowed me to enter into a quiet and meditative state too. Due to the severity of my accident, my memories are not totally clear. And yeah, I'd like to highly recommend these tuning forks as a skilled practitioner as such as my dear friend Rachel Ellery. So how about that? We're singing our praises, pat ourselves onto our back. So whether we're looking at acute or chronic inflammation or wound healing, we can, and as you have heard through these people for testimonials, we can really reinforce the potency of sound with healing as a fantastic add-on to your therapy, whatever it is that you do, your modality of work. And I think the more complementary we can be and the more tools that we can have in our bag, you can't go wrong with that. A lifetime tool bag of tuning forks.
Yeah. And
so, Eeshi-Ra, anything else that you'd like to say?
Yeah, I would just love to share that, you know, Rachel and I have been passionate about, you know, creating this course, and it's available now. And we have a very special offer for any of you watching, any of you who really feel called to this work. There are so many more practitioners now, including sound, in their practice, because you can get deeper and, you know, more profound healing outcomes. And so if you feel like this is for you, then, you know, feel free to ask any questions on the Facebook Lives, in the comments. And yeah, please check out the landing page. You know.
Yeah.
Please, yeah, check out the website. There's on my website, you can check out, I've started to post the Facebook Live, so you can catch up with the other two if you haven't seen those already. And there's other videos, you know, introducing, going into more of a background, and also talking about patient healing successes and how to work with sound. And we would love you to join us. We have so much to share, and it is packed with so much information of different practices that you can, modalities, you know, that you can employ with the sound and with the anatomy, you know, that you can bring so much benefit to your patients. So we hope you feel inspired to check us out.
Fantastic. Okay, we'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow at the same time. So yeah, take care.
Yeah, and we'll be talking about trauma, mental, emotional, and physical. And on Friday is mothers and babies. So tune in with us.
Bye.